Say Selenium class 4 software test life cycle or software test process. See, before going to discuss our Selenium test life cycle or Selenium test process, first I will explain software test life cycle or software test process. Say, test process may vary from one company to another, sometimes one project to another also. Suppose in one company 10 projects are running. Suppose for two financial projects, company follow one process. For remaining medium or small projects, company can follow other process. See, software test process may vary from one company to another, sometimes one project to another also. Okay, leave it. What we are going to discuss is industry standards according to IEEE, ISO, etc. According to what we are going to discuss is standard process according to industry standards. Some companies may not follow standards. Forget about that companies. But what we are going to discuss is standard process. See, in this process, uh, 4 or 5 levels are there, but we will discuss 4 important levels. According to industry standards, 5 levels: test planning, test design, next test execution, implementation and test execution, full form. Next, fourth one, evaluating exit criteria. Last one, test closure. But I am merging that evaluating exit criteria to test closure. Okay, we will discuss 4 important phases. See, phases, phases of software test process. Vijaya, phases of software test process. List out the phases, 4 phases, Vijaya.
First one, test planning.
Test planning. Test planning. Next.
Second one, test design.
Good. Test design.
Third one, test execution.
Next, test execution.
Fourth one,
Next.
test closure.
Good. Test closure. Test closure. Okay. I'm adding one more concept. Observe Jyotirmayi. Job roles. Job roles. Observe Jyotirmayi. Here I am not only going to discuss our software testing job roles. Sometimes we need to interact or we need to contribute with other team members also, isn't it? See here, primary is test lead. Test lead. Test lead primary role. Okay. Testers also. Testers, or you can say team members. Okay. Testers are team members. Okay. Can you tell me, Jyotirmay, what is the role of test lead or team lead? Usually team lead term developers use, we use test lead. So in some companies you can find test manager designation also, that depends on company. These are common, test lead and tester or team member. Tell me, Jyotirmay, what are the important roles, general roles for test lead?
Test lead will manage the testing team.
Okay, first test plan with the help of team members. Test plan documentation. Important one. Next, configuration. management, configuration management planning. Next, understanding and analyzing requirements,
Yes.
analyzing test requirements. Next, risk analysis, Next, high level task, test estimations, Next, with the help of project management, team formation, actually team formation first, then test plan documentation. Okay. Next, important tasks, guidance, observe Jyotirmayi, guiding to team
Yes.
members. Next, monitoring, test process, monitoring, guidance, monitoring test process. See, in international standards, you can find three important responsibility of test lead or team lead: guidance to team members, monitoring the process, and control the process. Test control means taking actions. Suppose some team members made mistakes, correct the mistakes and take actions against those mistakes. That is test control. Test control. Okay, na Jyotirmayi, any confusion?
No, sir. I'm
Okay,
good.
next come to test engineers. Okay, here I am going to list out important tasks. Okay, but for test lead, I mentioned maximum. Okay, in test strategy implementation, all come under test plan documentation. Okay, brief. Here, understanding, requirements, Next, derive test scenarios. See, these are general or standard responsibilities. Suppose you can ask, in our company, ours is a small project. We one or two members only working for a project. For that, we only prepare test plan documentation and we only create test cases, etc. Okay, that depends on company, but it is standard. Okay, just a minute. Understanding requirements, derive test scenarios or outlines. Next, test case documentation. Next, test data collection. I am using this term test data collection instead of preparing test cases. Some test data, observe important points. Some test data we prepare, testers prepare. For example, phone number object takes 10-digit numeric values. For that, testers can prepare test data. Suppose in our application home page, total 121 objects or elements, in which 27 links, 10 edit boxes, etc. For that, we need to collect that information from developers. Developers only know that application design. Okay. Next, some cities information is there. That cities information depends on customer business. We need to collect that cities information from customer. So, test data collection. Sometimes testers prepare, for some test cases, testers prepare test data. For some testers collect test data from development team. Next, sometimes developers, testers collect test data from customers also. And one more thing, test data is not mandatory for all test cases, only for some test cases. For example, login functionality is there. For the test data required, user ID, password. Example, suppose after clicking Gmail link in Google homepage, it has to redirect to Gmail homepage. For that, no test data required, only operations, only tasks. Okay, na? Any confusion? Sirisha, test execution.
No,
Vijaya,
Yes, sir.
any queries, Vijaya?
No, sir. I'm
Okay,
good.
cool. Comprehensive. These are test levels. Balu, can you hear me? Bala Subramanyam.
yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Able to hear you. Sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
thank you.
Observe Vijaya. Jyoti, I will call you later. Vijaya, be active, Vijaya. Smoke,
Yes, sir.
comprehensive. Again, this we will discuss later.
Sanity testing. Sanity
Next,
test.
regression. Here, regression, cycle 1, cycle 2, final regression, etc. are there. Okay, these are levels of test execution. Okay, testers conduct all these levels of test execution. Anyhow, I will explain these concepts in test planning phase. Okay, next, observe Vijaya.
Yes, sir.
Reporting, combined activity, and tracking
Defects.
reporting and tracking defects. Next, after confirmation, closing defects. Confirmation testing is called regression only, that is cycle practice. And
Close.
defects, closing defects, closing defects. These are the maximum tasks, Vijaya.
Okay, sir.
Just a minute. Any queries, Vijaya?
No, sir. I'm good.
Okay, cool. Next, observe Vijaya. Testers are team members. Next, already I told, sometimes other team members or other roles contribution also required for our testing. Sometimes integration also there. These are our major roles. Next, development. I'm discussing entire team. Otherwise, you can use dev lead, developer separately, but write briefly. Development team. Development team. What is the role of development team? Next,
Coding.
just a minute. Business analyst. What is that? Coding is different. That is not part of our testing. Vijaya, developers interact
Okay,
with
sir.
testers for fixing defects. Na?
Yes, sir.
That's the only relation. Coding is, that is initial task. That is important task, core task of developers. Testers involvement not there in that. Business analyst.
Okay, sir.
Next, technical, just a minute. Support people, or you can say system administrators, etc. Suppose system administrator. Next, this one, project manager. Now optional, etc. Observe Vijaya. Development team. What is the contribution of development team here? Here we negotiate with the developers now regarding fixing defects.
Yes,
First,
sir.
they track our defects. After rising, track
Defects
defects.
and fix.
Just a minute. Fixing defects. After fixing
Defects.
defects. Fixing defects. Sometimes they may reject some defects and
Retesting.
postpone defects. That is communicating, just a small task. Communicating with just a brief testing team. Sometimes observe Srisha, sometimes developers may postpone some defects due to time constraints. Suppose so many defects are there. First they focus on high severe defects and they leave cosmetic defects and they write note. We will fix these cosmetic defects in next release like that. Okay, before that testing team, fixing testing team. Next, postpone. Postpone defects, etc. Okay, now Vijaya, observe any confusion, Vijaya?
No, sir, I'm good.
Business analyst role. Contribute, Vijaya. What is the role of business analyst? Generally, and one more thing, in some companies here, one more role is there. SME. SME.
Okay.
What is SME? Subject. Is not for all projects, only for few projects. Sometimes due to budget, companies won't recruit this SME, and they ask all team members to share their knowledge among team members. Share the knowledge. Otherwise, subject matter expert. Observe observe Vijaya.
Yes, sir.
Suppose ours is insurance policy management project. Our team is new to that insurance domain. That time, company recruits temporarily one insurance retired manager or insurance person. That person is basically non-technical person, provides some insurance domain knowledge to all stakeholders of the project, not only for testers, also for developers. That is optional role. Sometimes, suppose in our team 10 members are there, 6 members having insurance domain knowledge, worked for insurance projects earlier, only 4 members, new members are not experienced in insurance. For that, they can share the knowledge. Depends. Here, observe what is the role of SME. Tell me, if SME available in your project, what is the role?
Explain the subject.
Providing, just a minute. Providing domain knowledge. Example, banking, just a minute. Banking or ERP or just a minute. Telecom or retail market, etc. Depends on our project. Next, business analyst, Vijaya, business analyst. Actually, business analyst gathers test requirements. Here,
Yes, sir.
business analyst is the communicator between development team as well as testing with customer. Why?
Okay.
Business analyst only gathers requirements from customer na.
Requirements.
See, here
Yes, sir.
gathering requirement is not the task to our software testing. That is business analyst core task.
Yes, sir. Communication.
Developing application developers core task. But in our relation point of view, what is that one?
Communicating with the
See,
testers.
explaining sometimes if more explanation required, requirements. Next, communicating or mediator. Mediator in between customer and development and testing teams. Next, observe Vijaya. Technical support. What is the role of technical support people? Test environment. Test environment
Yes,
setup and troubleshooting while testing.
if without any.
Okay, na?
Yes, sir.
Next, project manager, optional, just monitoring, high level monitoring, monitoring test process and guiding to just lead level peoples only. Guidance. Okay. Okay, now observe Jyotirmai structure job roles in our software testing, direct job roles and supported job roles.
Yes.
Balu, are you following Balu? Balu,
Sir, I am following.
Balasubramaniam.
Yes, 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 sir. I am following, sir.
Okay, your voice is very low. Try to use proper voice devices at least by tomorrow. Come to main one, test planning. Guide me Sirisha. You take the control Sirisha. Put all of you put mute except Sirisha. Sirisha, this is initial phase, test planning. This is phase of STLC, software testing life cycle. Sorry, or software test process. In order to understand any phase, I'm going to provide a pattern or format. See, first reference documents are input. References are input. Next, tasks. Next, output. Here, output of this phase in maybe input for next phase. Okay. Here, according to industry standards, what are the mandatory inputs? Observe Srisha. Requirements. Say requirements document name, maybe SRS or CRS or URS or FRS. See, sometimes the document name may vary from one company to another, but globally using name is SRS, software requirement specification, but I am using generic term requirements. And next, any other have any idea? Sirisha.
About test plan, sir, or
Project plan. See, project manager prepares project plan. According to project plan, our test lead plans for testing. Next, test
Test
strategy.
strategy.
Test, just a minute. Strategy, test strategy. What is this test strategy? See, in our software testing, we create and use several documents. This test strategy also one test document, but this is high level document, company level document. Testers won't prepare this one. Only senior people or project management create this one. And one more thing, this is not project level document, company level document. It is for one or more projects. Most of the time for multiple projects only. What is this test strategy? It describes strategy regarding testing. Means all test levels that company follow, all test types within those levels, and test design techniques that company follow, etc. Our test lead implements this test strategy for our project. Observe, Sirisha. Suppose in our company test strategy, we have 4 levels of testing described. Next, 20 types of testing. For example, functionality testing, security testing, usability testing, localization testing, recovery testing, reliability testing. Next, configuration testing, etc. And our test strategy described several test design techniques. White box test design techniques, black box. Suppose in black box, state transition test, sorry, first one, equivalence partitioning, next boundary value analysis, next decision table testing, state transition testing, use case testing, etc. But for our project, test lead implements this test strategy for our project. Not all. Observe, Srisha, suppose in our project, functionality testing and usability testing according to customer requirement or customer agreement, 2 test types required. Our test lead implements these 2 test types only for our project. Suppose project 2, that project 2 test lead, suppose for project 2 4 types required: functionality testing, performance testing, security testing, usability testing. That test lead implements those 4 types strategy for their project. This is high level document, company level document. Team lead or test lead implements this document. In test plan document, you can find test strategy or test approach field. In that approach field, test lead implements. Getting this point, Sirish, or any confusion?
no, sir, it's clear.
Okay, cool. Anyhow, I will explain what are the important test document. You just remember, test strategy is a testing document, but company level document. These 3 are the mandatory reference documents or input for test planning phase. Next, some optional documents are there. If you have optional documents also, then you can easily plan for testing. What are they? Software design docs, one or more. Suppose,
Sir, sir, what does that mean? Test planning execution. What does that mean?
Where test plan execution? Test plan execution means following the test plan. Suppose we use test plan as input for remaining phases. test design, test execution, and test closure. Execution means following that one.
Okay.
Suppose,
Okay, sir.
Suppose you write your this weekly goals or tasks in one document. Executing that documents means you are following that one. Suppose going to cinema today, that is one task. Suppose if you go to cinema, one task completed, that is executing the document now.
Yes, sir.
Yes, good question. Test plan document execution means following the document and continue the process and doing the process. What is the problem?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Welcome. Software design docs, high level docs, low level docs. Generally, developers prepare these docs. We collect these docs. Using design docs, we can understand the business flow of the application. Sometimes architecture of the applications, not sometimes, architecture of the application also. Next, industry standard docs. Observe Vijay from Bangalore. Sometimes, suppose our company following industry standards like CMMI integration or ISO or something, we need to collect those documents for follow. Getting this point? No response or no communication. Jyotirmai,
Hello.
getting this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Getting the point, Vijay.
Sir, following, sir. Following.
Okay. Following. Okay. But your answer is very late. Be sharp. Corporate standards.
No, sir.
Okay, cool.
No,
Corporate standard docs. Observe Smriti Pandey. Smriti. Suppose our company having our own standards for development as well as testing. That time we need to collect the documents from company management and follow. So industry standard documents, that is regarding IT industry. Corporate standard, that is our local standards. Okay, na Smriti Pandey, any confusion? Smriti.
I'm good, sir.
Okay,
I'm good, sir. Thank
okay, cool. These are optionals. Next, one prerequisite is there, that is not mandatory, but important. Test plan template. Okay, na Sirisha, this one, references. Come to this one, important one. Test planning phase tasks. Here observe, all of you observe carefully. Actually it is not our syllabus, but if you know the software test process, then you can easily understand the automated test process using any tool, not only Selenium, UFT, Selenium, RFT, anything. Okay, test planning phase tasks. See, initial task, these tasks not only for test lead. See, already I told, for test planning phase, author of this, the lead is the author of this phase, but all team members' contribution required. Understanding, here I am going to mention important tasks only. Okay, understanding and analyzing requirements. After understanding and analyzing requirements, risk analysis, feasible study. risk analysis. Observe Smriti, observe Srisha, feasible study. Sometimes some requirements not testable. For example, satellite control application is there. Suppose if you want to test that application in live environment, is it possible? Changing the directions of satellite, releasing the some extra wastages, etc. Is it possible, Sirisha? Testing?
No, sir.
No. See
No.
here, some some requirements are not testable. Okay. Risk analysis. Next, test strategy. It is not separate one. While test planning only lead implements the strategy, that field is called test strategy in test plan or test approach. That depends on company. Test strategy, implementation. Next, observe Jyotirmayi. Requirement strategy there. For example, your requirement, general, your requirement is going to another city. Next, strategy. Strategy describes how to go by flight, by car, on foot. That estimations vary, estimations may vary based on that strategy, na?
Yes, sir.
Say requirement going to another city. Strategy means how to go. Here also in our scenario, how to test. Suppose by flight, 1 hour, example, by car, 9 hours, on foot, suppose 20 days, example, like this. After strategy implementation, then high level task, lead task. Here I am not segregating lead and team members. For some tasks, testers contribution also required. Test, SP, estimations, high level task. Here some considerable factors are there. See, today's is very important class. Core 1, concentrate. Estimations by considering first scope of the project. This is first consideration. Next, resources, available environmental and human resources. Next, time. Next, last consideration, budget, etc. See, by considering these factors, our test lead prepares test estimations. Here, resources, resources, available human and environmental resources. Suppose for our project, 10 missions, 10 test engineers required. Suppose our company busy with so many projects can provide only 8 or 7 or 8 systems. That time we need to change some estimations like next time. Suppose this project requires 9 months, but customer demand is complete within 6 or 7 months maximum. Next, budget. Suppose it is a low budget project, but so many functionalities. That time prioritizing, example. Next, high level one, scope of the project. What is the scope of the project? Suppose ours is financial critical project having more scope, so more concentration required. For example, we have two projects. One is online banking system, another is ERP. In ERP, enterprise resource planning, human resources management system for one chemical company. Okay, both are important projects. Suppose having same budget also, example, assume. Which one is having higher scope? Banking, internet banking system, or HRMS, human resource management system, ERP project? banking system. Why? This is financial critical. And one more thing, deals with a lot of customers. All that bank customers not under the control of that bank. Suppose internet banking system fails for 1 hour or one day, lakhs of customers will be disappointed. Suppose HRMS system fails for 1 hour or one day. Suppose in that company 2000 employees are there, their management, a company management can take the employees attendance manually. After rectifying the attendance manually and other details manually, after rectifying the problems, for example, tomorrow the data entry operators can enter that data and set the application. Both are software applications, but banking, internet banking application having more scope than HRMS application. Suppose budget are same, even though budgets are same, banking system having higher scope. Why? All banking customers not under the control of the bank. Suppose HRMS, suppose that chemical industry 2000 employees under the control of that chemical industry. Okay na? Any confusion, Vijaya? Are you following? Scope of the project. Okay na? Next,
Yes, sir.
observe who is the author of this part. Sirisha. Sirisha, next two tasks are there.
Test lead.
Team formation, test plan documentation. Which one is first according to standard process or formal process? Tell me which one is first. Some companies may not follow formal process. Forget about that. Team formation, test plan documentation. Which one is first?
Team formation.
Yes, team formation is first. Why? All team members' contribution is required for test planning. Okay. So, in some companies, after planning, test planning, they recruit some people. That is a different case. See, team formation, next, test plan, documentation, test plan, documentation. Next, apart from this, configuration management planning. What is configuration management? I will explain. Configuration management planning. Observe, Sirisha, configuration management. Do you hate this term or it is new to you?
No, sir.
Okay, your voice is very low, Sirisha. I'm not following actively. You put mute, and one more thing, try to use proper voice device at least by tomorrow. Continue, Preeti. Preeti. Do you know this one, configuration management, Preeti?
No, sir, I don't know.
Observe. This is important activity in the software development, not only in testing. Preeti, first remember this point. Configuration management is not only for testers or testing team. It is also for all stakeholders of the project. Developers use configuration management for software release, build release. Using configuration management, they conduct version controls. Okay. Developers use configuration management. Testing team uses configuration management. Developers use. Testing team uses. Next, project manager, business analyst, and other stakeholders also use this configuration management. In some companies, we may not use configuration management. That is different. This is standard. And one more thing, manually we can manage configuration of the project. Otherwise, nowadays some tools, not test tools. Some tool is software. Otherwise, some tools are available for configuration management. For example, Microsoft VSS, Visual Source Safe. It is for configuration management only. Okay. What is configuration management? Observe Preeti. Storing, before storing, creating, okay, creating without configuration management also we will do. Okay, leave that creating documents or creating items. Storing, storing and organizing all configurable items is called configuration management. Storing and organizing all configurable items is called configuration management. It is more important for software developers than testers. Okay, forget about other teams. What is the role of configuration management in our testing area? Okay, we already discussed storing and organizing all configurable items is called configuration management. Okay. Here, what are the configurable items? Observe Preeti. What software and hardware we use and what documents we produce during testing all come under configurable items. Suppose take documents, what software and hardware we use and what documents we produce all come under configurable items. For example, test plan is configurable item. It may change. Suppose first version of test plan, second version, third version. Observe, Preeti. Suppose first version of software test plan we created for 500 requirements, initial requirements of customer. After 1 year, they changed during maintenance. They changed that requirements. Now 580. Now we released test plan version 2, 3, like that. Change control, version control required. Say test plan is configurable item. Test case docs configurable items. Open and close defect reports also configurable items. Using this configuration management, we can track configurable items. For example, on first build, we used only 700 cases. On ninth build, suppose fourth year of maintenance, ninth build, we are using some 620 test cases. We can track. Suppose from first build to second build, 20 requirements modified, 7 requirements deleted, 80 requirements added, like tracking. If we use manual or automated configuration management, then you can easily track. Suppose if it is manual, tester creates common repository, common folder and subfolders in the server. All team members access that folder. Suppose if our company follow any tool provides provision for test activities. Okay, na Preeti, any confusion? Configuration management?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay,
Thank
cool.
you so
Now,
much.
welcome. Pavani, tell me, part of this one, I explained two things. What is configuration management and what are the configurable items in our software testing? Quick. First, what is configuration management? General.
Storing and organizing all configurable items.
Good. Next, what are configurable items in our software testing?
And what software and hardware we use and
what software and hardware we use and what documents, test plan, test cases, test data, etc. What documents we produce during testing all come under configurable items. And one more thing, observe, Pavani, sometimes
Sir.
it is lengthy test case we mention hardware, software details. Or suppose if it is a small project, we use a small template. If it is large project, sometimes we use lengthy project.
Big
Suppose in
projects.
my current project, we are using SW, software and hardware details also. For example, our project works on Windows 7 minimum with service pack 1. Next, hardware. Suppose i3 processor, some data cards, not data cards, graphical cards, etc. That we have to mention in test case for lengthy for critical projects. Suppose after 2 years or 3 years or 4 years during maintenance testing, if you open this test case, then you can get software and hardware details, previous test environment details na.
Okay.
Okay, good. uh, Vijay Bangalore, any confusion? Configuration management?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Next, observe, Preeti, traceability. Traceability matrix. Traceability matrix document creation. Here 2 points. Traceability document creation. First, what is traceability document? Say, mapping, it describes or it mentions mapping test cases with requirements so that we can easily find all requirements are covered or not, all requirements were covered or not, and any duplicate test cases are there or not. Okay. Next, nowadays, some companies extending this one, mapping test cases with requirements and defects. Suppose test case requirement 1, test case 1, defect, no defect, test passed. Suppose requirement 2, test case 2, requirement, suppose requirement 11, test case 11, defect 1. Why? First 10 cases passed, defect 1, like traceability. See, basically it is mapping test cases with requirements. Nowadays, some companies using this one, mapping test cases with requirements and defects also. Okay. Next, who prepares this document? Author of this document, traceability matrix document. Author of this document is test lead. Test lead prepares this document during test planning phase, but all team members update this document throughout the life cycle. Okay. Any queries, Preeti? All testers or team members update this document throughout the life cycle. Any queries?
Yes, sir. Just like I know that in quality center we
Yes,
do the
using quality center you can maintain that one. Otherwise, manually you can
yes
maintain that one.
that job is
Pardon? Quality
so
center.
physical.
Just a minute. Quality center is used to maintain traceability. Then what is the problem?
No, so for the traceability, there is another also some kind of documentation is there, or just the
No.
no,
Suppose
right?
if you
Okay.
enter test requirements module is there in ALM. This is a question out of range. Observe. Requirements module is there na in quality center.
Yes.
You enter requirements. Next you create test cases. In the quality center, extra task is there. You map test cases with requirements in that one. Test planning module is there now.
Yes, sir.
In the test planning module, right side, you have to attach test cases with requirements. Then, if any test case fails, it attaches that defect also with test case and requirement. What is the problem? Extra task is
No.
there. Hello?
Yeah, I have the question that is the same thing. Whatever the quality center we do, this is the same thing, the traceability matrix you are talking about, right?
Without a tool also you can follow. My intention is ALM is tool expensive. Without tool also you can follow. Otherwise, you write test cases separately, defect report separately using Excel, and only for traceability you can use VSS, visual source safe like tool, small tool, cost also very less. Otherwise you can use ALM, formerly quality center. If you use ALM, it supports complete application lifecycle management, means test case design, test execution, defect reporting. Apart from these, traceability also, test management and including traceability. Then what is the problem?
No problem.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool. Welcome. Next, one more task. Observe, Preeti. One more task. Important one. 3, 6, 8, 9. Define test environment. Test environment setup. Define test environment setup. Okay. Observe in this level, Preeti. Test lead defines test environment setup. Means test lab. Test environment define means just what softwares and hardwares required for test environment. Test lead knows what to install. Suppose for our project, Eclipse IDE, Java, Selenium WebDriver, Java language bindings, etc. Example, in small companies, test lead or testers only install. That is different. This is standard. Test lead knows what to install. Technical support people or system admin knows how to install. And in third step, verify test environment setup. Who verifies? Who verify test environment setup? Testers, team members. When? In test execution phase. Before going to execute test cases, testers verify the test environment setup. Here observe, Preeti, 3 steps. Define test environment setup by test lead. Implement test environment setup by system admin or technical support people. Next, third step, verify test environment setup by testers or team members with the guidance of test lead only. Any confusion, Pavani?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, tasks completed. Now, Pavani, tell me outputs. Here, easily you can mention one is test plan document. It is input for next phase. Test plan document. It provides description or guidance for testing process. It provides guidance for testing process. Test plan document. Next, if you write any configuration management plan, this is optional. Configuration management plan. It is optional. Second one optional. Next, come to Balu. Balu, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am here.
You increase the volume and guide me for next step. Suppose second one. This is brief about test planning. Next, come to second one. Okay, na Jyotirmayi.
Yes, sir.
Test planning phase of software test process or test life cycle. Here we discussed three topics. One is reference documents are input for test planning. Next, tasks in test planning. Next,
And then
output
out.
of the phase. Can you tell
Yes.
me, Jyoti, what are the reference documents for test planning phase in software test life cycle?
Yeah. Requirements,
Ah,
project plan,
hmm,
test strategy document,
good. These three are mandatory reference documents.
mandate.
Some optionals
Yes.
also there. If available,
Yeah.
better.
Design docs,
Otherwise, no issue. But mandatory documents you must have.
process guideline
Yes,
docs,
software design
corporate
docs.
standard docs.
Next, process
Corporate,
industry standards. Industry
yeah,
standards means ISO or
docs.
PMMI if you follow any. Next, corporate
Yeah, yeah.
standards. Suppose our
Yes.
company own standards, local standards. Okay.
Locus.
Next,
Yes, sir.
okay. Put mute. Go back means put mute. Smriti Pandey, what are the important tasks
Yes.
in test planning phase? Important
Uh,
tasks. I mentioned
yeah.
9 tasks.
Yes,
You
sir.
tell me one by one.
Understanding and analyzing the requirements,
Good.
risk analysis,
Next.
test strategy implementation,
Good.
test estimations,
Uh,
uh, team formation,
uh,
uh, test plan documentation,
good.
configuration management planning,
Good.
and
Traceability.
traceability matrix document creation. And last one is
Say test
test
lead create this
environment setup.
document, but all team
Yeah,
members' contribution required for this document. Ah,
right.
creating in this phase only, but all team members update this document throughout the life cycle, not only in this
Perfect.
one. In test execution time also created
Okay.
900 test cases, executed 882.
Yeah.
Like that is summary only, but tracking,
Okay, sir.
tracking.
Okay, sir.
Next,
That last one is test environment setup.
define test environment setup.
So in this level, the test lead,
Test lead defines test environment setup.
yes,
Next, later,
and
uh,
yeah,
technical support people implements this one. Next,
yes,
during
and the
test
testers they
execution
verify.
phase, during test execution phase means third phase in this life cycle,
Yeah.
team members verify the environment setup. Okay, na?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir.
Next, tell me, Vijay, output of this test planning phase. We discussed two output docs. In what are the outputs? Bhairappa Vijay.
Sir, test plan document is the input for the test design, sir. Test design.
I am not
During
asking input. Output of this first phase. Test plan document. Next, configuration
test strategy.
management plan. Don't confuse. Concentrate. Now come Bala Subramanyam or something. Second phase,
Test
test design. Test design. As usual, Bala, A references, references, or you can say input docs, reference docs, or inputs. Tell me, Bala, requirements mandatory, requirements mandatory. By reading requirements only, testers can write test cases. Next, test plan, test strategy not required. Why? Already our test lead implemented that strategy in test plan document. So test plan roadmap for our program, it is required.
yeah.
Next, these two mandatory. Next, templates required. Test case template. Preeti, observe. Suppose our company following any tool like ALM, for test management. That time you can use ALM provides all test documentation templates. You can configure, you can customize the template also. Facility is there. Suppose test case template, defect report template, etc. Suppose our company not using any tool, only manual process. That time use your company prescribed test case template for writing test cases, your company prescribed template for writing defect reports. If you use any tool, tool provides test templates. uh, you can use as it is, otherwise you can customize those templates. Suppose total 20 fields are there in the test case example, lengthy template available in uh, our tool. Suppose you want only 5 or 6, you can use those 5 or 6, remove remaining, you can customize. Any queries, Preeti? Confirm, Preeti, immediately. What is the problem? What is the
Yes,
problem,
sir.
Preeti? Confirm. What is I'm asking? Why you are dragging the time? What I am asking? You tell me, Vijaya, what I asked? What I told, tell me at least. I told something about
The
test case template, na?
yes, sir, test case template.
Confirm. Okay. Preeti, not in alert mood. You tell me. What I
Yeah,
told?
if we have a template,
Yes.
if we have a
See
template,
here
we
two
can
types.
use the
If you
template.
follow
Otherwise,
any
we can
test tool,
customize the.
if you follow
Yes,
any
sir.
test tool like ALM, formerly Quality Center, the tool provides test case template, defect report templates, etc. And you can customize those templates also according to your project requirement. Suppose you are
Yes,
not,
sir.
your company is not following any tool, then use your company prescribed template. Suppose your company using Excel sheet, use your company prescribed test case template for writing test cases. Use your company prescribed defect report template for writing defect reports. Copy that one and write. Any problem, Vijaya?
No, sir, I'm good.
Okay, cool. Preeti, concentrate. Now continue. Bala Subramaniam, continue. Test case template. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, that's it,
Ah,
sir.
these optionals also here also optional. Observe, Preeti.
So,
These two mandatory. This is prerequisite test case template. This one. If you know software design documents, standard documents, you can easily design test cases. Next, B. What is B? What is next topic? Tasks. Tasks in test design phase. Observe, Jyotirmai. What are the tasks in test design phase? First, understanding requirements mandate
Understand the requirement.
in order to write
Understand.
test cases. See, here analyzation not required.
Only
Understanding,
requirements.
understanding test requirements. Risk analysis extra things not required. Already in test planning phase, test lead did those tasks. Next,
Here we have
derive
generate test.
derive test scenarios first, outlines. Test scenarios
Scenario.
or outlines. Next, test case. Test
Documentation.
case documentation. Test case documentation. Next, test
Test data.
data. Test data collection. Observe this phase author is okay. Go back, Jyoti. Phase author Bala. Bala, just wait, Bala. Preeti, already I explained this one. Test data collection. Why I am using this term test data collection instead of using test data creation or preparation? Preeti.
Yes, sir.
Why I am using this test data collection term instead of using test data creation or preparation?
Because developers also create test data.
Developers also create. Concentrate, Preeti, concentrate. Can you tell me, Vijaya?
Yeah, sometimes we need to collect the data from the
Yes.
clients.
Say, observe, Preeti. Usually, some test data we prepare. For example, phone number field is there in our application first screen. For that, as per test requirement, it has to take 10-digit numeric values. Type of the data is numeric, size of the data is 10. For that, you can prepare test data. You can prepare. Next, suppose in our application home screen, some 121 elements or objects are there according to requirements or according to software design. You need, according to requirements, you need to test. For that, you need to collect elements or objects information, error messages information, help messages information from development team only. Why? They know error message, they only created. They know help messages information, they know objects information, how many objects in first screen, how many objects in second screen, like that. Suppose some cities information is there. Suppose ours is telecom application. In some cities only our terminals available or network available. You have to, you need to test that one. Example, you need to collect that information. Cities Hyderabad, Pune, Bangalore, Chennai, etc. information from the customer only. But you don't know that one. Getting this point, that's why I use the term test data collection. Any confusion, Preeti?
No, sir.
Jyotirmay, any confusion? Test data collection. Why I am using this term instead of test data creation or test data documentation?
No.
Confirm, Jyoti. Don't drag.
I am good, sir.
You are good. Tell me the answer. Why we are using this term test data collection? What is the reason behind it?
We need the data to test the application, so definitely.
Incorrect. Vijay, Bhairappa Vijay, why we need to?
Sir, some data we need.
Yes.
Sir, so some data we need
Some
confirmation
data
like
only
test
testers
phone
prepare.
numbers.
First start this sentence with this one. Some data only, some test data only testers prepare. Example I told, phone number object. Next,
Phone number. Okay.
some data testers need to collect from developers,
Collect
and some test data from customers also. That's why test data collection. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Jyotirmay, following?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now come to mainstream. Bala, output.
Test case design document.
Pardon?
Test case design document.
Your voice is very low, Bala. I'm not following. Okay.
Yeah, test case design document.
Not design document. Why design documents? Design document only reference for this phase. And that also, what is that reference? Secondary, this one. Mandatory requirements test plan only. What is test case design documents? Test case documents. Next, test data. Okay, these two enough. Suppose you can mention this one also. Suppose some scenarios not covered, etc. This is optional only. Why? From test scenarios only we derive test documents. But from test scenarios only we derive test cases. So if you write test case, test scenario not required. But test data required. Why? We can't derive test data from test cases. This is separate one. Okay, na? Smriti Pandey, is it okay? Test design phase. Smriti Pandey, respond.
Yes, sir. I'm good. Thank you,
Tell
sir.
me one small question to you, Smriti Pandey. What are the
Yes.
important tasks in test planning? Sorry, test design phase. Important tasks. Middle one.
Yeah. Understanding the test requirements.
Understanding test requirements or test understanding requirements. Next.
Derive test scenarios.
Good.
Test case documentation.
Good.
Test data collection.
Good.
Yeah, I think so. That's
Okay. Next. Sirisha. What are the reference documents or input for test design phase? Reference documents. Sirisha.
Requirements
Requirements.
and test plan document.
Yes, test plan document. These two are mandatory reference documents. Next, prerequisite test case template for writing test cases. Suppose some companies use different templates for test data also, that is different. Most of the companies planning test case and test data in single, some different. Okay. Next, what are the optional documents for this phase?
Software design documents,
Good.
industry standard documents, and
Industry
corporate
standard documents and corporate standard documents. Okay. Next,
Yes,
next, Bala, output of this phase, Bala, output.
Test case documents and test data.
I think you are not using headphone. Try to use headphone at least by tomorrow.
Yeah, should.
In order to get proper voice, proper chart. Test case document, test case docs, one or more. Next, test data. Okay. Test scenarios optional. Okay. Next, Pavani. Pavani, guide me, Pavani, for the third phase. Observe Pavani. What is the third
Yes,
phase,
sir.
Pavani? Third phase.
Test execution.
Test execution. Test execution phase in software. Software test process, or you can say software test life cycle. Observe. First, as usual, input. Reference document. Reference documents, or you can say references. Next, or input. Say requirements mandatory. You need to cross check. Next, test plan. It describes when to start testing, when to stop testing, and when to suspend testing temporarily. Roadmap for test process. Test planning. Next, test case and test data. Docs. Continue, Pavani. Anything else? Pavani.
Yes, sir. Test.
These are mandatory references. Next, one precondition. Observe this one, Preeti. Readiness of AUT, application under test. This is precondition Preeti Joshi. Why? Suppose for first phase test planning and second phase test design, AUT optional. Suppose application not ready, no problem. You can copy requirements documents, test case template, and test plan document, and you can start test design using standalone mission also. For execution, application under test, AUT is must ready, otherwise you cannot execute. Isn't it, Preeti?
Yes, sir.
Before this one more thing. Readiness of test environment, or you can say test lab. Okay, na? Who is the author of this phase? Pavani.
Yes, sir.
Next, template required. Suppose here also same like Sirisha. Suppose you are using any tool. Suppose Bugzilla. Bugzilla provides its own template. You can customize the templates. Otherwise, you can customize the template. Otherwise, you can use directly. Suppose ALM provides. If you use any test tool for test management or defect management is part of test management. Every tool provides defect report template. You can use the template as it is. Otherwise, you can customize the template according to your needs. Suppose your company is not following any defect management or test management tool, following only manual process, then copy your company prescribed defect report template, suppose in Excel, then write defect reports. See, defect report template. This is also precondition. Next, observe these three, Pavani. Here also
Yes, sir.
optional requirements. You need to follow corporate standards. Entire testing, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
But optional. Okay. Next, come Pavani. B. Tasks in test execution. Say according to ISTQB or international syllabus, phase complete name is implementation and execution, but I am using short names. Okay, no issue. Full name is implementation and execution. Okay, tasks in test execution phase. This is phase. Just a minute. Phase. Observe Pavani, important tasks. First, verify team members activity. Verify, test, environment, setup. Already we discussed Pavani. Here 3 steps. Define test environment setup by test lead in test planning phase. After that, technical support people implement test environment setup. Next, in test execution phase, testers means team members need to verify test environment setup. Here you can ask one question, Pavani. How team members know the test environment setup? Based on SRS document, in SRS document, you can find required software and hardware for our test lab. Using SRS document only, test lead defines that setup. Implementation they can do. Why? System admin people, they know hardware and software. With the reference of SRS document only, test lead define test environment setup. Otherwise, test lead don't know that, doesn't know that one. Next,
FRS doc.
pardon?
I mean, they don't use FRS document, sir.
See, Pavani, don't go in depth. FRS is different.
Okay.
See, SRS,
Okay.
software requirement specification. See, again, I need to tell some story. Why you are asking? You
Okay,
are introducing FRS unnecessary. Just listen
okay,
this one
sir.
enough. Observe. Software requirement specification. Actually, this document is divided into two sub-documents. One is again SRS. That SRS means system requirement specification. Next, second document FRS, functional requirement specification. Functional requirement specification only describes the application functions, but system requirement specification describes what hardwares and softwares and configuration required for development as well as testing. Any problem?
No, sir.
Okay, cool. Verify test environment setup. Next, observe Preeti. Creating test batches. Execution queue. First, testers prepare test batches. Some are saying preparing test. Just a minute. Preparing test batches during test design only na? No. According to industry standards, creating test batches before test execution and test execution phase only. But in some companies you may prepare test batches in test design phase also. That is informal. Creating test batches. Test batch means series of tests, means execution queue. Next, come to Pavani. Test execution. Don't confuse Pavani. Here we have two executions. Here this test execution is phase. This third one, the selected test execution is task. Phase under the test execution phase, test execution task. Okay. Here we have some levels of test execution, Pavani. Levels of test execution. Concentrate all team members. Initial level of test execution, smoke testing. Another name of this one, but widely using term is smoke only. Build verification testing, or you can say build acceptance testing. Some are saying smoke and sanity testing, both are same. Some are saying both are different. Anyhow, it is controversy concept. Say our concepts, three types: global concepts, local concepts, and controversy concepts. Whenever you want to explain controversy concepts in interviews, just explain your stand and stick on that stand. Anyhow, we are following industry standards. In some company says smoke and sanity are same in our company. Some company says smoke is different, sanity is different, but we are going to follow industry standards. Anyhow, it is controversy concept. Okay, na, Pavani?
Okay, sir.
What is smoke testing? Observe my definition, and you no need to follow my definitions. You can use your own words without disturbing the meaning. What is smoke testing? Verifying whether the initial build means first build means software build. Verifying whether the first build or initial build, verifying whether the initial software build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests. What are basic functionality tests? That I will explain in project module. Verifying whether the software, verifying whether the initial software build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests. For example, login like. Okay. Next, here smoke testing purpose is not finding defects and reporting defects, Pavani. Just accepting the build. Suppose if some important functions are not working, then reject the build with a note. Here, intention is not finding defects and reporting defects. Accepting the build and rejecting the build, isn't it? Accepting or not. Next, after accepting the build, observe Preeti. After accepting the build, comprehensive testing. This is another level of test execution. Observe, test execution phase is there. Next test execution task. Under this test execution task, we have some levels of test execution. Don't confuse Preeti. Test levels, earlier we discussed, test levels different, test execution levels different. Test levels means unit testing, integration testing, system testing, and acceptance testing. Those are test levels. Next, test execution levels means smoke testing, comprehensive testing. Next, regression testing cycle 1. Sanity testing, regression testing 1. Next, regression testing 2, regression testing 3 at the end, final regression. Here we select test cases from high defect density areas, previously fixed but confirmation. In simple words, you can say smoke testing, comprehensive testing, regression testing, sanity testing, regression testing. Regression testing, two types. One is general regression. Regression cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4. These regression cycles depends on complexity of the application and strength of the development team. Okay. Regression testing, two types. General regression means cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, cycle 4, like that. Next, final regression. Okay. Comprehensive testing. Comprehensive testing means complete testing. This comprehensive testing purpose is testing finding defects. Preeti, Pavani. Smoke testing purpose different, comprehensive purpose different. Getting Pavani? Any confusion?
No, sir.
Okay,
Can
cool.
we say this as a functional testing, sir? Comprehensive testing?
Pardon?
Can we say comprehensive testing as a functional testing, sir?
Who is
Checking the
asking?
functionality.
Who is asking?
This is Vijay, sir. Vijay, sir.
Vijay. Functional testing, comprehensive testing. Comprehensive testing is general term. Comprehensive testing means executing all possible
Both
test cases. Here functionality.
Okay, both functional and
just observe.
Okay, sir.
Silly question, your question is just observe. Okay, you can ask that question. Sometimes you may not know that one. Observe, but question is invalid. Observe. Comprehensive testing versus functional testing. Suppose we are conducting functional testing only. Our Selenium also functional test tool. In that functional testing type, this is comprehensive testing is execution level. We are conducting smoke testing for functional testing, comprehensive testing for functional testing, regression testing also for functional testing. Your type is functional testing, level is smoke, comprehensive, regression. And one more thing, observe. Vijay, sometimes it is good question. Comprehensive testing available in performance testing also. Getting this point?
Yes, sir.
Observe. Suppose we are conducting performance testing. First we perform smoke. Login is not functioning. Reject that build. Suppose all important functions functioning, then apply the load. Means execute all possible test cases called comprehensive testing. Then regression cycles, sanity regression like. There also comprehensive testing is there. Comprehensive testing is test execution level, whereas functional or functionality testing is test type. Comprehensive testing is there in functionality testing, in security testing, in performance testing, in usability testing also. Example, comprehensive testing is general, means executing all possible test cases in any test type, functional test type or performance test type or any confusion, Bhairappa?
No, sir. Now clear, sir.
Okay, na? Observe and okay.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes your question is valid question also. Observe. Here I will provide one conclusion also. Relation between functionality. If it is automation or manual, functionality testing and what is that? Comprehensive testing. Observe the relation. Observe, Bhairappa. Functionality testing. Functionality testing is a test type, whereas comprehensive testing, just a minute, whereas comprehensive testing is a test execution level. What is comprehensive testing? Executing all possible test cases, Bhairappa. Suppose we created 900 test cases. Suppose we are planned for execution all 900, but 982 possible. Example. So execute all possible test cases. But smoke is different. Suppose we created 900 cases, but we created separate smoke test cases. Some 40 basic functionality tests, login, registration, example, etc. are important tests. You conduct those important basic functionality tests only for smoke, but for comprehensive testing time, execute all possible test cases. Observe this point. Whereas comprehensive testing is test level. Next, we conduct comprehensive testing in functional or functionality sublevel. Functionality testing and also in performance testing.
So can we say non-functional testing?
Yes, sir? Non-functional. Yes. Yes. You can write in brief. Non-functional testing. Then okayna, Bhairappa? Any confusion? Vijay?
No, sir. Clear, sir.
Cool. Welcome. Next, and one more thing. Observe. Anyhow, point is there. I will provide in-depth explanation. Performance. This question to Jyotirmayi. Performance testing. You know, it is test type.
Yes, sir.
Test type. Non-functional is test type. There you can say Subtest type. Okay, subtype, subtest type. Okay. Next, see, observe. Non-functional.
Performance.
Non-functional testing. It is test type. Next, this one performance testing subtype na. Okay, you can use type also. Next, load testing. Next, stress testing. Next, spike testing, etc. Just a minute. Endurance testing, etc. These also test types. But here, what is the relation between performance testing and load testing? Suppose load testing, stress testing, etc. Load testing, stress testing, etc. Load testing is subset of performance testing. That is the relation. Next, usability testing, another type. Compatibility testing, another type. Okay. Next, observe Preeti. Just a minute. Observe Preeti. Functional testing or functionality subtype and database testing. What is the relation? Can you tell me? Suppose this is test type. This is also test type. Tell me, Preeti Joshi, say yes or no. What is the relation?
So, functional test. Oh, you are asking relation?
Relation. We are saying sometimes the database testing. Now, what is database testing? What is the relation between functional and database testing? That is my question.
Database testing is done when we need to check the data from whatever we put it in.
You are telling definition. You are diverting the topic. What you are say, forget about what you are doing in database testing. What is the relation I am asking? You do anything in database testing, I am not bothered about that one. Okay. Observe.
I don't know, sir.
Vijay from Bangalore. Database testing is a part of functional testing. This is clear. Here you can ask one question. Suppose if it is part of functional testing, then why separate name? Why you are using and functional testing and database testing is part of. Now suppose New Delhi and Bombay, correct sentence. Why? Two different cities. New Delhi and India, not correct. Why? New Delhi is part of India. Here database testing has independent, it is independent task. It is independent. Why? Database testing is a part of functional testing, but not only part of functional testing, also part of non-functional testing, Bhairappa. In performance testing also you can find data volume testing. That is also database testing.
Sir, actually, in database testing, we'll be checking whether table name columns.
Not only table name columns, sometimes we check volume also. That is completeness.
Correct, sir. Like stress testing, where data can acquire so much of data that whatever we are using.
Now observe. Final conclusion. Database testing available in functional and performance both, na?
Sir.
So it is independent one. also part of performance
triggers procedures.
performance testing. This is clear. Next here, anyhow, okay, after time permits, I will explain one more topic. Functional testing versus system testing. That is level, this is type. Okay. Now come to mainstream. Who is the author? Pavani. Come to mainstream, Pavani. Mainstream. Comprehensive testing means executing all possible test cases. If you find, while comprehensive testing, if you find any deviation from expected, then defect reporting, defect, this is one task, and tracking, combined task. All of you put mute, tracking. Next, after that, receive modified build. After receiving modified build, regression. Actually, full form is re and regression testing, but you can say regression testing. What is retesting? What is regression testing? That is different. That is not our syllabus. Lengthy. Regression testing cycle 1. This is general regression. Next, final regression. Regression two types. One is general regression, cycle 1, cycle 2, cycle 3, like that. And there is final regression. Regression cycle 1. Observe, Vijay. Cycle 1. Here first select test cases or tests for a regression cycle 1. Next, after receiving the modified build, observe, Vijay, sanity testing. This is also one of the level. Here also you can say build verification test, but slight difference is there. Build acceptance testing. What is the slight difference? Smoke testing, verifying whether the initial build or first build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests. What is sanity testing? Verifying whether the modified build, not first build, modified build, second build, third build, fourth build, up to, depends. Verifying whether the modified build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests. Here also purpose same. Accepting or not the modified build. Any confusion, Vijay?
Sir, can you please write in the bracket, sir, accepting the modified build is known as like sanity testing or something like that?
Okay. I will
remember,
I will return.
If you don't mind, please.
Okay, cool. Suppose smoke testing. Next, sanity testing. What is smoke? Verifying whether the first build or initial software, we are saying that term build, integrated build, or you can say first software build, verifying whether the initial software build or first software build is acceptable or not by executing basic functionality tests or test cases. Example, login. Next, here also observe, Vijay, verifying this one, Same, but one small change. Verifying whether initial, not initial, whether the modified, just a minute. Software build is acceptable or not by executing basic functional tests. Any confusion, Vijay? Vijay, confirm.
Clear, sir. Now it's clear.
Okay, cool, Vijay. Next, come to mainstream Pavani. After sanity testing, here sanity testing purpose is not finding defects, accepting the build. Next, execute regression. Suppose we selected 120 cases for regression cycle 1. Regression, all of you put mute. Cycle 1. After accepting the build, suppose in sanity fails, again sanity required. Reject the build, again sanity. I am writing general flow. Execute regression cycle 1, test the cases. Here, if you find any mismatch, regression testing purpose is finding defects only. But sanity and smoke only accepting the build, accepting or not, verifying the build. Next here, again, cycle practice, Pavani, cycle practice, cycle, regression cycle 2, like this, cycle practice. Next at the end, final regression. Here, suppose maximum defects are all planned defects fixed and confirmed, closed. But in order to increase the confidence, our test lead selected some test cases from high defect density areas. Means earlier they failed, now they passed and executing properly. But in order to increase the confidence in software testing, at the end, we select test cases from high defect density areas, and once again we conduct final regression and confirm. This is about. Any confusion, Bhairav? Vijay?
No, sir. Clear, sir.
Now come to mainstream Pavani. Output Pavani. Here observe. Opened and closed. Opened and closed defect reports. Here you can ask one question. Closed defect report, okay. For reference, next phase. Closed means after fixing defects by developer, we conduct confirmation testing. Regression testing, also called as confirmation testing. Synonyms. In interviews also you can find this question. And in ISTQB certification exam also you can find this question. What is confirmation testing? A. Retesting. B. Data-driven testing. C. Regression testing. See, regression testing is also called as confirmation testing. After confirmation testing, testers only fix the defects. What about opened? Some defects, developers postpone some defects due to time and other constraints. Most of the time they postpone cosmetic defects only, not high severe defects. They may fix those defects in later releases, future softwares. Next. Okay, now Pavani, any confusion?
Okay, sir.
Next, last one. Observe. Vijaya.
Yes,
Last
sir.
phase. Sorry. Just a minute,
Test
Vijaya.
two.
Just a minute. Last one. Here time, limited time, I will just mention. Whenever time permits, I will explain later. Anyhow, simple task, simple. Important is test planning and test planning, test design and test execution. Test closure, actually lead activity, but awareness required for all team members. Fourth one, test closure. Test closure. First, I will mention observe Vijaya. Here requirements mandatory. Requirements. Next, test plan roadmap for the program. Test plan document. Next, opened and closed
Defect reports.
defect reports. Sometimes test case template, defect report template also. Suppose test coverage not clear, we are not in confidence mode. That time we need to create some more test cases and execute. That is different. General flow. These are the mandatory inputs. Next, optionals. You can use these three for entire life cycle. Observe Vijaya. Guide me, Vijaya.
Yes, sir.
Next, this is A. What is this A field? References. References, or you can say input. Input plus process equal to output in computer programming. Okay. Tasks. Here observe. First, evaluating. Already I told author of this. Observe Vijaya. We have 4 phases now.
Yes, sir.
First phase, important role, primary role test lead, but all team members contribution required. Last phase, here also primary role test lead, but all team members contribution is required. But second and third phases, test design and test execution, primary role testers, team members,
Yes,
but test lead, guidance, monitoring, and test control required. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Evaluation of exit criteria. You can find exit criteria in test plan document. It describes when to stop testing. Anyhow, test lead activity. Next, collect all artifacts, means docs. It is real-time term. All documents. Suppose test lead, test engineer 1 working from node 3, test engineer 2 working from node 4. Collect all documents. Otherwise, suppose if all people stored in server only, you can just access that one. Okay. Usually we use common repository. Then collection not mandatory, optional. Collect all documents and prepare test summary report summarizing all test activities. Here I forgot one. This one, test plan summary report template, or if you use any tool can provide. Next, observe. Okay, this one we will write later. Just a minute. From suppose all team members. Okay. Next, create test summary report. Next, send all test deliverables. Deliverables. What are test deliverables? Observe Vijay. We write test deliverables field in test plan document. What documents we produce, and use during testing process. All the documents come under test deliverables. Example, test case, test plan document, only documents, no softwares. Test plan document. Okay. Sometimes software, hardware, tools also required. I forgot that one. Vijay, observe. Suppose we are using any tool test scripts also we need to send to customer na. They have to
Yes, sir.
conduct acceptance testing na.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. Okay. In general orientation, test deliverable means what
All the
documents
documents.
we create and use during testing process. The documents come under test deliverables. Example, test plan document, test case documents, one or more, test scenarios, test data, opened and closed defect reports, etc. Test summary report also. Okay. To customer or customer side people. Next, last one, optional one, improvement. Improvement suggestion. Just a minute. Improvement suggestions to is optional. We suppose after conducting the project testing, we must learn some lessons. Then we can provide suggestions. Future projects. Okay, tested software already there, so we no need to write other things. Observe, Pavani. Last question for the day, Pavani. What are the important tasks in test closure phase of software test process or software test life cycle? Pavani Yogendranath.
Test plan document requirements.
Observe my question, Pavani. Carefully. Observe the question carefully.
Okay, sir.
What are the important tasks in test closure phase in software test process?
Evaluation of exit criteria.
Evaluating the exit criteria. It describes when to stop testing. Next.
Collect all artifacts when documents.
From testing from all team members. Next.
And create test summary report. And send all test deliverables
to customer. Next, last one, optional one.
I don't know.
Improvement sessions for future projects. Optional.
Yes.
Okay, now I am going to close the session. Confirm. First, Bala Subramaniam, software testing life cycle or software testing.